Hello, this is Anne Marie. Apparently, you can see me and I can't see you. It's just a black screen here. So today's TipTop Tuesday. The topic is racism, and it is June 2nd, 2020. Obviously, this is a big topic of discussion globally. People are watching what's going on in the United States, and we're watching what's going on in the United States, for sure. What I want to talk about is I know we were supposed to blacken, maybe that's why I can't see it, but um, I firmly believe that this is a great time for dialogue. Like what's going on? Everybody's got their attention um, focused here, and we get to lead in our discussions about race relations and cultural relationships. I'm going to start instead of defining things, although I was going to start defining institutional racism, but a little farther down. What I thought I would talk about is what we can do, because a lot of us are feeling anger, rage, helplessness, fear, fear for what's going on, fear for our children, fear for people coming into our neighborhoods with breaking windows, right? All of that. It's real. It's legitimate fear. Um, so, what I am challenging people to do to help heal this is to look at your own biases. And sometimes what happens is because we all want to be the good guys, right? Or the good gals, we like to believe that we don't have biases. But of course, we live in a culture that is full of bias. We have DNA memories that is full of bias, right? And and marketing too. We see a lot of it through marketing. So I'm going to challenge people to pay attention to their thoughts. Now I know you do that in mindful meditation, okay? Now this is an example of doing it in just daily life. And I'm going to give you an example of a cultural thing. I was raised Irish, American Irish. We've been here for years, but I had a real bias against the English, uh, for lots of reasons. And then my one of my closest friends in all the world married an Englishman, and I thought her life was doomed, doomed, right? And of course, he's a wonderful guy. He's a great guy. She made a good decision on that one, and it made me question what my bias is, which is English people make rotten husbands, right? That's what my mom told me. And right, moms know everything. So I started realizing that I still have that a little bit. So I started going out and joining groups with a lot of English people, because when you get indoctrinated with other people, you can see the variety. You can see that the cultural stereotypes don't necessarily fit. And even if they kind of fit, they don't they don't really fit, because all of a sudden you're dealing with individuals. And that's really in a heart to heart connection, right? We all do it. So people are like scratching their heads and saying, well, what do African Americans want? Blah blah blah. It's simple. They want respect. They want the same opportunities that other people. They want to be able to go to a park and not have the police stop them and wonder if they're selling drugs. They want to be able to buy a pair of shoes and not have somebody say, where'd you get the money? It's that degrading kind of interaction. So it's that simple. They want respect, love, good jobs, right? And what do we want? We want respect, love, good jobs, all the same. I have a background in anthropology. I don't know. Some people know that. Some people don't. Cultural anthropology. And when I was in school in the 70s, I know I'm old, they talked about how there's only one race, and it's the human race. And they back that up with science by saying we can all interbreed, or have kids. They don't interbreed, that's the wrong word, but I mean, so there's no problem there. We're the same species. And then we somehow break it down and make it all real complicated. It's not complicated. We're all the same human race, right? Some of us have straight hair, some of us have curly hair, blue eyes, brown eyes, black eyes, blah, 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 whatever it is. So that's just a fact. It's a fact. Then we get all diluted with all this other stuff, right? So I'm trying to keep it simple. I just got this thing that says healthy choices. So a healthy choice is keep it simple, right? And also look at where your biases are. So like I was getting a bias towards, I just talk about my own because then I'm not gossiping, right? Against born again Christians, or religious right, because I felt like they were not being very kind to lots of different groups. Like we have the faith, right? And they just weren't being kind enough. So, but I was really building a bias against these people, like they're all monsters. So I had the opportunity to go do chair massage for foster parents in quite a conservative Protestant church, born again, whatever. And guess what? They were people. They were like people. They cared about these foster kids. They wanted to do good, blah, blah, blah. We didn't necessarily agree on all the fine tuning, but there was a basic connection there. And I was more than happy to reach out to them. When I start feeling negative feelings about something, about people, a group, I immerse myself in their culture. So I have plenty to choose from. So I can't be that negative. And so that's my tip for today, is to monitor your thoughts, kind of figure out what it is that you are assuming something is without really checking the facts. So I'm going to give another example. I wrote it down. And we definitely need some healing here. I wanted to say too, babies break all barriers. Everybody likes to pick up babies, talk to find out, right? So there's that shield is down because babies are love. They're peace seers. We are born as loving beings. We really are. Somehow we've been so told as billigers that we're not, but we are. We're not perfect. We have lots of things going on, but we are peaceful, good people. We have to learn to be a warrior. We're not born to be warriors. We learn that. We're born to be peaceful and loving. I know this is a little long, but I also wanted to talk about institutional racism a little bit. And I'm going to use my grandmother. My grandmother was born in 1896, so she'd been around a bit. And she was very racist. She would tell you all about black people. She might even use the N-word once in a while, but not always. She was respectful. She would say Negroes. But she had her opinions, very strong ones. Well, she didn't know any Negroes. And then in the neighborhood she grew up in, and where they had bought their house, and where my mom grew up, black people were coming in, Afro-Americans were coming in, moving in to the neighborhood. And so she was a little afraid, and she had all her stereotypes about Afro-Americans or black people or Negroes. And then one moved next door. All of a sudden, it shifted. She was talking, she'd go on about this wonderful neighbor and how they're such great people and how she loves them. Of course, that's the only one she's talked to, right? The only Afro-American family she knows is top drawer. So then people start throwing garbage in their yard and egging their house and doing all that. And my grandmother says to me, well, why would they do that? I said, because they're racist. And they go, but those are nice people. she, but she could still have that institutional racism. This was the exception. So it's those kinds of things that are what I'm talking about. When we have set foundational views of things that we really are not based on anything except a one-liner that maybe a relative told us as we grew up, or two-liners, or a lecture. But that's not the point. We have to go out and challenge our institutional racism and challenge our cultural biases to find out what's really going on. And when you really do that, underneath, we're all pretty darn good. I said darn. My mom would approve of that. So anyway, so that's it. And I hope this is helpful. And I'm going to leave you with to use mindful meditation to look at your own biases and your own attitudes. So take care. Have a dazzle of a day.